Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Stormworks, and we are back, and we're working on our frigate, but we've got some stuff to talk about. So, yeah, guys, sorry about the lapse in videos. I put a message out. I don't know if you all saw it, but basically, I'm having some computer issues. But we've got a video for now. I've got all my stuff backed up. The ship's not going anywhere. I do have all my footage too, so we're good. The build's not going to go anywhere, so I'm just kind of having some computer issues. But in today's episode, we're gonna just work away. I'm gonna do a little bit of general detailing all over the place. So this episode's gonna be a little random. We're gonna try to focus the majority of it on the bridge section in this roof area and just kind of cleaning up this part of the ship. But yeah, it is gonna be a little bit all over the place. So just kind of keep that in mind. So enough of that. I guess we'll get right into it. What happened with my computer, if you guys are wondering. So essentially my computer is, I turned it off and then I turned it back on and it didn't turn on. And this was after I had came back from work one day, and I was using it the day before, no issues. So really, really weird. What ended up happening is the computer won't restart. So if I click restart from the Windows menu or shut down and turn it back on, it won't turn back on. So I've managed to kind of get it back on, and it's very, very inconsistent whether it will boot back on or not. So I've been keeping it on longer than I'd like, which is not good for the computer. I know that. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. It's functioning for now. I got all of my data off of it, which is good. Like I said, I got all the builds. I got all my footage. So none of that's going away, which is good. I can still get videos out. But I've been trying to kind of figure out computer stuff the last few days, which is why you guys didn't have videos. And then the first couple of days, or the first two videos, I didn't have time to kind of try to play tech support and record a video. So we're here. Sorry about the break, but the schedule, it might be a little inconsistent for the time being until I get a new computer. I'm definitely just gonna get a new computer, guys. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. So I'm gonna look at probably getting an actual desktop. If you're new to this channel, I'm on a PC, and I guess I could just talk about it. Some of you, you guys sometimes ask me about my specs. So I'm on a Lenovo Legion 5i. And it's got a i7. I mean, I could pull it all up, but for the layman's terms, it's got an i7. It's got a not a dedicated 3050, but a integrated 3050. There's a big difference between those two. And then I have 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and I'm running that on an Ultra HD monitor with 144 hertz. So probably the hertz thing, or the refresh rate, definitely doesn't translate to YouTube, but I am playing at 144 hertz. I don't think I record at that bit rate anyways. But if you guys, I mean, I don't think the videos have any video quality issues. So if there is anybody out there that would like to watch on 4K or anything like that, let me know. And it's something that I could maybe look into while I'm building a new PC. But Stormworks is not like a detailed enough game where 4K is going to make a difference anyways. And between you and I don't want to play it in 4K. I'm going to play it in Ultra HD anyways. So I don't really know why we're even talking about it. But yeah, so the computer is kind of working. We're kind of hobbling along on it right now. So, you know, I should be able to kind of record some videos in the meantime. So again, I know I'm kind of just yapping on about, guys. So thank you for kind of staying tuned for that. But I figured you guys would probably want a explanation. So that's also why the oil rig didn't get updated for a few days. So I did manage to update the oil rig. So I saw a lot of your guys' comments, and especially about the diving bell. So I fixed some of the little issues. I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand on how to use it, but I'm also not going to, I'm going to be honest, guys, I kind of take the comment section on the workshop with a grain of salt. If you get upset with me in the comment section, I'm simply not going to respect anything you say with me or say to me. So kind of keep that in mind. If you do have anything that you kind of want fixed and or, you know, changed or whatnot, if you're respectful about it, that's going to go a lot further with me, and I'm going to be a lot more inclined to help you and or do it for you. But yeah, with that, I just kind of, the Steam Workshop comment section can be a little crazy sometimes. So I take it with a grain of salt. The Discord would be a much better place to kind of bring up some major flaws. And even with that, guys, sometimes I'll just be honest, I don't have the wherewithal to go and actually fix it. So, you know, if it's a major issue that's easy to fix, I'll fix it. But if it's like some like game-changing thing that you guys want me to put 40, you know, another 40 hours into, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. But yeah, the Discord would definitely be the best place to do that. And there should be a link down to that in the description below. But anyways, I guess we could talk about Stormworks a little bit right now. This episode will probably be a little bit longer, which is fine. You guys haven't had an episode in a few days, so I might throw a couple time lapses in here. Actually, I will say I'm going to throw a couple time lapses in here, and this is just going to be a longer video. And you guys haven't had one in a few days, so I don't want to record a video over 30 minutes long. But yeah, you guys probably deserve it, so we're here. But I'm working on detailing this bridge right now. So what you saw me just work on in the background was I was adding an air conditioner, and that's going to be something that we do across the entire ship. So the entire ship is going to have working HVAC, and when I say that, I mean click a button is going to keep the room at a certain temp for you with heaters and air conditioners. So it's going to have a lot of like realistic plumbing. This ship, I'm going to try to go full realism with all of the drainage, the black water, the gray water, all of that stuff. So I always talk about how I like doing the plumbing on these or in these build guys. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do more plumbing. I enjoy that part of it. I don't like doing the logic, which, well, actually, I can't say that. I don't mind doing the logic depending on what it is, but sometimes it's annoying. And I'm sure a lot of you probably will agree with me. But yeah, so we're going to go with the realistic HVAC every room, even in the engine room. And I'm also going to have fresh air vents all over the ship that you can close off just in case there's some sort of radiation hazard outside or something like that. You should be able to close all of the air to the outside off and seal the inside of the ship completely. So just a few fun things. I'm really having a ball with this ship, and I've been taking my sweet time with it. So I would say for each one of these videos where you guys get half an hour of footage, I've probably put four hours into the ship. So there's a lot of stuff that I do where I'm not recording and I'm just changing tiny little things here or there to make it look nicer. But I really care about this ship, and I've been really enjoying it. So that's kind of why you guys also see little changes in between the episodes. I just don't want to record them all, especially because a lot of it's just theoretical and I'm testing it out, and I want to play with it before I record it for an hour or so. But yeah, it looks like we got the air conditioning working, and I'll get some temperature, like an actual good setup for this later. But that is all set. So all of the lime, not lime green, but whatever green you want, mint green pipes that you see on the ship will be coolant lines for the air conditioning. So I'll try to maybe label all this for you guys later on, but all of it will be color coordinated. I'm really excited about the plumbing. If you can't tell, I'm still talking about it, but even like that. So it's gonna have ballast tanks, and this is like another cool feature which you guys haven't seen yet, obviously, because I'm way ahead in the build, but the ballast tanks, you can close the valves to the pumps just in case you lose power, and then you can pump from tank to tank manually after you close those valves to level the ship out if you have no power on the ship, which I think that's another cool backup feature. I'm trying to have backup features all over the ship like that, and I think that is really what makes these ships fun to play with. So yeah, just, it's important for especially like a warship to have those kind of backups. If you lose power in a warship, you need to be able to do things still. So, it kind of sucks to manually pump water over, but if you're listening to a side and you can do that and that's an option, it's a good option. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff like that, just like the escape hatch, the HVAC, the plumbing. We're going to have a black water tank, or, well, I guess, yeah, black water, because I'm just going to mix it with the gray water, so it'll all become black water technically. And that'll be a tank where you can hold all of your dirty water until you get into the ocean, and then you can discharge it, and that is generally how it's done. So might not be the most pleasant thing to think that we just kind of throw our poop water into the ocean off of our ships, but most of the time that's how it's done, guys. You just got to be in maritime waters. A lot of times it's illegal to do it close to a coast, so that's why they'll have holding tanks. Now, obviously, that's pretty different in the modern age than it was, 30 years ago, but we're starting to change these things. But I haven't really done that kind of a plumbing system yet, and I thought it would be fun to do. So you guys will see that. We'll get into all that later on. I was just now checking this thing out, driving it around a little bit. I think I'm going to move this vent. I'm not really happy with the vent, but I think we're spending quite a lot of time up here, so it might be time to move along to another part of the build. And of course, when I say that, I mean a different part of this room, but yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to put the pumps in. I'm just moving them around a little bit. I wasn't happy with where they are. I'm sure they're going to have to move anyways. We're going to obviously add a lot more to the ship. So the next thing I want to do is we need to get our power panel in here. And this is another thing that I'm going to worshipify a little bit. Now, disregard this. This is me testing. And I know the noises are really weird while I'm sped up, so I apologize, but I don't really want to slow this down because I'm in and out of the workbench and this video is already really long. All I was doing in this clip was I was running the air conditioner and I was making sure we weren't having any pressure loss issues or overpressuring issues. So I was just making sure that the cabin is staying the same temperature or same pressure. That's all we want. And we can open the doors. We'll see that it gets warmer. And I'm just seeing how powerful the air conditioner really is. So, but yeah, it looks like everything's running. We got some pretty good flow rates. These flow rates definitely will get a little bit higher. The air flow rates are good. The coolant flow rates need to go up. They're only at about 5 liters a second. I would love that to be more around 15, where we can get a lot more of that cooling effect into our air conditioner. But yeah, we'll get that changed up, and we'll start working on the electrical panel. But like I said, with the electrical panel, I'm going to do this a little bit more worshipy than I typically would. Normally, I would just do a couple breakers. I do like electrical stuff in real life, and I would love to do the electrical in the ships realistically. I grew up doing electrical work, so I am quite familiar with it. And I would do that, but there's just like the electrical systems in this game kind of suck, if I'm being honest. Like there's not a good point to a lot of them. There's not like a lot of measurements in place that should be there. We have no way to measure voltage draw and amp draw and how many watt. I mean, we have storm watts, but we arbitrarily don't really know what that is either. So it's kind of hard to do a lot of that. There's no way to meter electric. I don't know. So, but I will say, so what we're going to do that is a little bit different, and it will make this ship hopefully a little bit more durable, is we're going to go with relays instead of breakers. And the instrument panel up there is just going to be hot all the time from the battery, and that way you will not get hopefully if you get hit by lightning or something stupid like that, it'll be a lot easier for you to reset the power systems. So I'm going to have 6 different relays down there. We're going to have a main power, we're going to have a backup battery, we're going to have engine power, weapon power, and then I think we also have an auxiliary power. I could be wrong, but either way, we're going to set that up. There are just going to be a bunch of simple flip switches, and nothing too complicated. So the nice thing is that I'll actually switch the panels around a little bit. The annoying thing with the instrument panels is you can't set the default state of a switch, which would be nice to have, but it's also not really super necessary. I just threw a NOT gate on the one, and the one button that is on, we are just going to keep that as a off switch instead of an on switch. So that way you won't have to go back here and turn it on every time you spawn it in, which is good. I think stuff like that's annoying, especially because of how long it takes for me to build my ships. So that's on me, though. Not really on you guys, but right now, all I'm going to do is we're just going to throw a couple more indicators in here, make the panel look a little nicer, and I'm just going to move that into the corner. This space back here is all going to be kind of sealed. So we can add that. We've got room for 2 different relays, and then we can add more of those microcontrollers from there whenever we need. So shouldn't be too much of an issue. I think this looks nice, and we're going to have 3 big dials on the left there. The main dial is going to be the main battery, then we're going to have backup battery, and I'm trying to make sure that is, you see how the dial is down, pointing down. I want it to point up. I'm not sure if there's a way to do it, but I think we end up turning the dial. So let me see if we can flip it in the editor, and let me see if that works. I'm OCD, so I'm being a weirdo, guys, but here you are. You're getting a little peek into my brain and the stuff that I'm really weird about. So this is honestly probably 15 minutes all said and done of me messing around with this dial, trying to flip it around so the dial is pointing up instead of down when it's at 100%, which is so goofy, but it's fine. I decided to just turn the dial straight, so it doesn't matter if you flip it in the editor, or at least to my knowledge. If you guys know a way, I mean, you might be able to do it with, actually probably not with XML, but I don't know. I mean, you could always obviously just invert the number, but then it reads incorrectly. But anyways, we're going to add more of these switches. We're going to get all of that set up, and then we should be good to go with pretty much just hammering away a lot of the builds or the building on this ship. The main structure is really here for us to build around now. We got the engines running. We got the fuel tanks in. The weapons or the ammo storage is there, and then we have all of our controls in. And not all of our controls, but enough to control it. So this is a really good point where we can start just hammering away at the build. So this is just me trying to, I guess, wrap up some of those loose ends so we can really start doing a lot of the interior, a lot of the exterior, a lot of the weapons, that kind of thing. And right now we are just going to get everything wired up. So I'm going to switch it over to just some music to run with the time lapse, and I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes while I get all this hooked up. All right, well, we're back in the world and we're testing things out, and yeah, looks like we've got all of that hooked up hopefully correctly. I'm going to play around with colors a little bit here, which is funny because we're just going to actually go back to the just plain green. I like the green, especially with my color scheme. I don't know, something about it. I like the look of the classic, just I guess almost like 90s retro green heads-up display, green everything. You know, I'm a fan of that, but also like I'm a fan of kind of like the future modern build style, as you guys can probably tell by now. So I don't know. I think it pairs well. I go for kind of like a near future look with a lot of my builds, which is good because that's kind of what Stormworks is set in anyways. And so I'm trying to make things that are realistic, but also a little bit out of the realm of realism if they need to, as far as like weapons and performance goes. Just we can just kind of pretend that it's the future, and that's the solution. So that's anyways, I'm just ranting on about. I'm really weird about the color selection, and I'm really picky about like my color palettes, especially when it comes to lights. And if you're an OG subscriber and you guys used to watch my older builds, you definitely know that. Like I've talked about it in the past. I'll talk about it right now. Like I really care about the color of the lights. It changes how a space feels, and I think it's really, really worth it to just kind of play around with hues a little bit while you're building. It can really change things, especially if you're just placing down like white lights. Just a white light kind of sucks. Don't get me wrong, there's a perfect place for it, and that is essentially basically hospitals. But other than that, I try to avoid like white lights. I try to avoid like oversaturated lights, that kind of thing. So I dim a lot of my colors down like you see with the green. And I think it just makes it look a little bit nicer, especially at night when you get like the red glow in the cockpit or in the bridge. But yeah, I'm just playing around with the switches right now, making sure everything works, and it looks like we are good to go. So we'll bring this back to the workbench and we will continue working on it. And the next thing that I really want to work on is, again, more of this upstairs area, but we need to start making it look a little bit nicer. And that's kind of the goal for, part of this episode as well. But that is unfortunately going to be a different episode. And it is funny with me saying that. So I think we've done plenty enough work in here. And that is, we've done almost 20 minutes of building just in this room. So we've got this really, really fleshed out. I'm just playing around with the guns real quick. The next thing I want to do before we end the episode is I want to get a Sea Whiz. Not necessarily a Sea Whiz in the sense of like, brr, but I do want to get some sort of anti-air for close-range weapons, or with a close-range weapon. So we're going to get some light autocannon turrets put on this bad boy, and we're going to test those out. I do want to get one on the front and on the rear, but I think for now we'll probably just try to get the one on the front or on the rear sorted, and once that starts working correctly, we can start using or just copy and paste it to the front. Now, I'm playing around with these field guns, which is funny because the field guns go bye-bye. They turn into light autocannons as well. But the light autocannons can be manually controlled, and they can also be controlled with the targeting system. So I think that's a much better alternative. Field guns on a ship that is newer like this doesn't really make sense in my opinion. So, and the battle cannons are a little large, but I also didn't want to do heavy autocannon. So I think dual light autocannon will be a nice amount of firepower. And, we've got the heavy autocannons already. We've got some rockets already, and we've got some artillery cannons already. So we really don't need to do all that much. Now, I know I've been talking about adding one Sea Whiz on the rear. I did play around with adding a fold-out turret right there. Now, I still don't know what to put in that space even to this day. So if you guys have a suggestion, let me know. I was thinking about maybe adding an array of flares that is, kind of folded back towards the wall. But we'll see. I don't really know what to do. I also was thinking about maybe doing a radar warning receiver bi-direction, which there's a few ways you can do that, guys. In Stormworks, it's a little easier on big ships like this, but basically it needs to be on a separate physics body that's not attached. And I mean not attached in the sense of like, could you put a logic node across this? So you can use certain connections like ropes, and I think you can get away with hinges. That could be wrong, but basically the radar detector's got to be on a separate physics body, and then it's got to weigh a certain amount of mass. And I apologize, I don't know that mass off the top of my head, but you can get away with doing, putting them in certain spots to know where the radar is coming from. So I thought about doing that. I don't know if I really want to do that, but if not, we can also do flares or, maybe even a missile. I don't know. I don't really like the idea of a missile because there's not a ton of space there. I don't really think I can get it to fit. Now, here I am. I'm copying and pasting in one of my favorites. This is Penny's. Now, I am going to go rip apart one of his turrets, and we're going to switch it into my own little thing. I always find it easier to just kind of, he's got a bunch of example turrets, and since we're using his targeting system, I'm just going to use his example turrets. It's a really, really, really great targeting system. If you guys haven't seen it, I try to use it on a lot of my stuff. I have a slightly modified version of it, but it's basically, it's made by 8 Pennies Deep and SSI. And you know, obviously there's a link to it. There will be a link to it once I get this posted on the workshop. If you guys want to find a link to it, any of my other creations that have this targeting system will have a link to it, obviously. So like the carrier, any version of the carrier will have that. Definitely go check it out. It's really cool because you can, it's extremely customizable, and you can kind of, these are all the weapons that I've built with it so far. So this is the turret that I'm going to see if we'll probably have to make some modifications, but back to what I was saying, the control system for those weapons is really, really cool because it's modular. You can basically make it work with almost any other, or any weapon other than rockets. And that's something I got to figure out on my own later. But, with that, you can basically build whatever weapon you want, and it works with the targeting system. And I think that's really, really cool, especially for the people who, like me, don't really want to do the math. You know, I probably could do the math, but if I'm being honest, I'm not going to be able to do it better than these guys. I'm not going to be able to do it to the precision that these guys can, and it's definitely not going to be modular either. So definitely very cool. Just go check it out. I know I've kind of been talking about it for a while, but we're just going to spawn this in and mess around with it just a little bit. And I think that is going to be a relatively good spot for us to end the episode. There's not really too much more building that we're going to go do. Obviously, there's still quite a bit of time left in the video. But yeah, I think that's kind of the main things that we're really going to get done. Now, this is the targeting eye that gets used. I'm going to have to move that around quite a few times, just like this seat. The seat in here controlling all these guns. All of this is going to change, guys. But I'm just making sure that all the weapons work right now, because you guys got to remember, I'm coming off the carrier when I started this build. And so what I've noticed, especially in the past, is I usually wait till the end to do the weapons, and it leaves me with very limited options. The turrets on the carrier kind of sucked. That's like one of my complaints. Probably could have had a little bit better weapon systems. But it wasn't really because of the targeting system. It was because I didn't plan on specific spots for the weapons. So I want to do this first. The other thing I want to do too is I wanted to, you know, make sure that all of these work, just because this is a laggy part of the ship. This is a lot of logic, guys. Like, we're controlling how many turrets here. We've got 2 MLRSs. We've got this turret right here. We've got a heavy autocannon on each side, and we've got a artillery cannon in the front, as well as an eye that turns around or moves around like a turret too. So like, this is a lot of physics bodies. It's a lot of logic. It's a lot of composite that all links together. So just in the past, I've noticed that it was unenjoyable to do because it's a lot of kind of testing the weapons, making sure they work correctly. But if you do that on a finished ship, the amount of lag that's in the workbench while you're trying to do it makes it a lot less enjoyable, if I dare say that. So I just wanted to get this out of the way, and then we can kind of do the decorations afterwards and not really have to worry about as much of the logic that's essential to the ship, and we can play around with the logic that is cool and fun. And you guys will see that later on. Like, I add ammo counters for all of the ammo belts, and, you know, RGB indicators for readouts, and cool indicator lights that signal the direction belts are moving, and that kind of stuff. Like, you guys will see later on, I do a good amount of like just stupid little composite on the inside of the ship, because now that I know this thing runs well with what I want it to run well, I can kind of pick and choose my battles on the interior a little bit better, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the mindset that I'm in. So that's what we're going for with this ship. Now, keep in mind, these battle cannons, they're going to go bye-bye. They're going to switch to light autocannons too. So we're going to have a total of 8 light autocannons, 2 heavy autocannons, 2 rocket launchers, and 2 artillery cannons, which is a lot of firepower for a ship like this. And we did mention it in one of the previous episodes. We're also probably going to have a torpedo or some sort of underwater weapon. Now, I don't want to spoil that too much, but I guess I will spoil it a little. Essentially, we have a spot on each side of the hull, guys, so we can fit 2 torpedoes. I will tell you right now, one of them will be a weapon. The other one is going to be reserved for a wet sub. I think it's cool. I think it's fun, especially for this game, and the size of this ship makes it perfect too. That, you know, it's not like a large crew. It's probably going to be a lot more focused missions, that kind of thing. So a wet sub in the bottom of the hull, super cool, super fun, and I've got a pretty cool mounting system for that too that you guys will see. But essentially, there's a rope anchor right in front of the driver that he can reach while he's driving, and he can attach that to a winch that will pull the wet sub up into the ship, and that way you guys can dock while the ship's moving easily. And I think that'll be a pretty cool thing. But yeah, anyways, we're basically at the end of the episode, so we made it over the 30-minute mark. Hallelujah, I made it. If you guys made it to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you know, I'm just kind of glad that it all worked out, and we still got the build, we still got the footage, so we're still rolling, we're good to go. But you know, I do these builds for you guys, so you know, it would really kind of bum me out if I lost this build. And you know, I'm a lot further into it than you guys see. And the other thing too is in the channel update, I really wanted to get that helmet HUD that I was working on too. So hopefully I can get that helmet HUD done and out to you guys soon-ish. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.